I'm looking at maybe defensively most impressive, and we'll probably agree on this, Dustin, was Jammie Robinson. Not just mainly just of his physicality, which it showed off really quickly on the hits he was bringing, but also his physicality on the line, jamming up whoever's he was on, and also in coverage too. I was watching him in goal line, and all of the reps that he had there. There was no way the quarterback was going to find a receiver on him. So by far, I think Jammie Robinson won that day. Wasn't some crazy performance, but to see a guy come in great shape, look really nice out there, and come from another school is nice to see.
Yeah, before my only comment there is, not being there, but hearing that it was back and forth. One side didn't dominate the other, which is what we've heard, especially last year. So it's good to hear that both sides had some victories. Each side was able to push and produce against each other. So that that's good to see that balance there.
Yeah, and I was just going to say, as Logan would say, that's a big cat. I mean, whenever he walked out onto the field, we were looking over there, and I was looking at the roster, and I was like, that's Jammie Robinson? I mean, that's a big dude to be playing safety, and he came up and delivered. It might have been the biggest hit of the day, but, I mean, it was a big pop on Cam McDonald, and when McDonald wasn't expecting it. And credit to McDonald, he held on to the ball, but, I mean, the whole defense erupted whenever he did that. The coaches were freaking out. He had a really nice day. And, I mean, that entire secondary, there's some players out there. Jarvis Brownlee did a couple things. Darian Jones, I believe he had an interception, but I think they threw a penalty on it. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, it wasn't a penalty, so don't worry about that. I was there.
No, it wasn't. Yeah,
ACC refs, man.
Yeah, I got the ACC refs out there. Somehow they were able to get them in there. But, yeah, no, Jammie Robinson by far on the defensive side of the ball, and definitely the DB unit had the most he just came in well prepared, and he was the starting guy out there. They just threw him out there right off the bat, and it's nice to see a guy that's able to get down the playbook for whatever it's at right now. I know it's the spring, so it's going to be pretty light, but you're still able to go out there and perform like that and play good and be on lockdown on your receivers and be able to jam up on the line, play physical, lay a big hit on Cameron McDonald, who's a big cat. That's a pretty good sized guy, and he's a tight end. It was nice to see that kind of physicality to start off with, because he did say in his press conference when he arrived, he made a pretty bold statement that he wants to be the hardest hitting physical guy at what a star nickel, whatever he's at. He wants to be the most physical guy, but you instantly think about like a LaMarcus Joyner type. So he's got some work to do for that, but it's good to show off right in the first spring game, being physical or spring scrimmage, I should say.
I think in October we're going to look at that as a major W for the coaching staff getting him in. I think we're going to see a guy I really project him to be a starter, and I think that he's going to really play well for Florida State.
I agree. And I mean, I don't know